Through these halls, where lovers get lost and lust consumes the wicked, a place where reality collides with fantasy, in the pages where romance is second to none. Welcome to the Lover's Library.
Hey lovers!
I'm Carly.
I'm Sydney.
And I'm Zoe.
Welcome back to Lover's Library Podcast.
It's cold as hell.
Yo, what's the actual temperature outside right now?
6
degrees
With a negative 30
Wind
degree
chill.
wind chill or something like that.
Oh my gosh, it feels like negative 34.
It's real cold here.
It does.
Real cold.
It does feel like that.
Disrespectful. I can't. Literally can't do.
We have a new book to talk about. It's Georgie
Yeah.
All Along by Kate Clayborn. This
And
was
it's in
your
the
pick?
summer. Yes.
Yeah, it's warm in the book, so we can just live through the book.
Yeah.
I wish.
Should we do this?
Yes. Tell us about the book.
All right. What's the scoop? Kate Clayborn is the author of 6 books. She loves a good, strong heroine with good friends and some complicated families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does.
Kate lives in Virginia with her husband and dog.
Oh, that's why she had so much Virginia knowledge.
Yes.
That makes sense.
I thought it was funny that this book was released almost exactly 1 year ago.
Oh,
It was,
Well.
yeah, she released it January 24th, 2023.
happy bookversary.
Yeah.
So we're getting
girl.
really close to her 1 year. So this is perfect.
Love that.
So, this book is about Georgie Mulcahy. She's a personal assistant and loves her job. But when her boss leaves her busy life behind for something more simple, Georgie is back in her hometown with no idea what the future holds. When helping her best friend Belle go through old boxes, they discover their old notebook. This friendfic gives Georgie something to look forward to. But then Levi Fanning comes in and turns her world upside down.
Levi Fanning.
So, lovers quarrel.
I loved this book.
I really liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Yes, it was
I
good.
enjoyed it. I wasn't. Okay, well, I don't know where to start. Where do we want to start?
I don't care.
I don't know how to say her
At
last
the
name.
beginning.
Mulcahy. And I only know that because I listened to the audiobook and
Mhm.
then once they said it, I wrote down the
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I read it and I was like, what? Girl, what? And then
I was
when
like,
I listened to the
Macaulay-
audiobook, I was like, okay.
Macaulay Culkin. I was.
Yeah. Now that I know what it sounds like, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, it's Mulcahy. Like that's the only way you'd say it. But
Right.
I know before I heard it, I was like, I have no
I was
idea how to say
saying
that.
Mocha High.
Mocha.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You took that on a whole nother level. Oh my gosh. The first thing I had
Okay.
was I was like, damn, Mrs. Michaels, her old teacher. What a bitch.
Throw her in the trash.
I was like, she's so rude.
This is literally how it is when I go back to my hometown.
really?
Everybody knows everything about you, and they're gonna bring up stuff you did a long time ago. Like
No.
that's how it is.
See, I grew up in a small town and I don't feel like I had that experience or like a
Mhm.
bad experience there, but I have some friends that grew up in the same town and they will say like the most horrible things happened to them and I'm just like
Mhm.
maybe it was just it was because I was who I was and I didn't have anything like that happen to me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel bad.
I lived in Dallas. There's 3 million people there, so
Yeah.
you get lost in the sauce.
Ugh.
But I will say, I guess my closest experience to that is being the pastor's kid.
Oh,
And
yeah.
although I ain't did nothing crazy, because I ain't crazy. 'cause
Did you
my
even want
parents-
to for a little bit? Were you like, let me rebel?
No.
Which is crazy. Most like the stereotypical pastor's kid is
Yeah.
wild.
Right.
Yeah.
No, my parents are crazy, so I didn't want to,
You didn't want to get in trouble.
They didn't know Jesus. They had I didn't know Jesus before their
You didn't wanna-
life. Right. I didn't want to tap into that.
You didn't want to show them the
No, 'cause my parents said I didn't always know Jesus, so don't try me. I was like,
Okay.
fair.
They were like, we will show you the wrath of God.
Yeah, for sure. And they're crazy.
Oh, well, when she was waiting in line at that little store to get her milkshakes for her and Belle, Mrs. Michaels said to her, that she was always a fly by the seat of your pants girl, like, person. I was like, that's so rude. And what's wrong with that?
I would be like, girl, you knew me like 14 years ago. What? Shut up.
Right.
And you're still in this town doing the same thing you've always been doing.
Exactly.
Get a fucking life.
Right.
That's how I feel just when old people say something.
Well, yeah, it's like you're an educator. You should know better.
Yeah, that's not how you make an impact in your student's life.
Yeah.
By breaking them down every day.
Yeah.
She made a whole new version of what was the song that she did? It was
Circle of Life.
Circle of Life. Yeah,
Circle of
Lion
Life.
King. I was like, that's legit. Let her be.
She
her
has an
creative
imagination.
self.
Yeah,
Well, I
she's
imagine
creative.
it wasn't.
Build off of that.
Right.
Let her.
But it was good. It was
She should have let her come up with her own song
right.
Mhm.
that they could sing. Maybe she would have been a musician, a composer.
Yeah, I think she just had a personal vendetta against Georgie because, like,
Just such a weird thing to like bring up so long ago.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Lame. Well, when she's in line to get the milkshakes, because she went to get her and Belle a milkshake, because she was about to head over.
And Annabelle is her best friend,
yes,
who is also pregnant and just moved back to their old hometown
yes
with her husband.
Which is Darentville.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was like, how? Every time they said it, I would rewind because I'm like, what are they saying? Darent.
Well, that's when we get our first little glimpse of Levi. Just a little snippet. She gets to the checkout and realizes she doesn't have her wallet on her, and he ends up paying for her, which was super sweet. But he acts all
Was it sweet?
he acts all broody.
It was not
He
sweet
was
in the
like,
moment.
you're taking so long. I'm going to pay for you so you can get out of my life.
But I mean, that's kind of a natural response. Like if someone was struggling that hard, I probably would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, I'm fucking ready to go. Can
Depends.
we go here?
But she said it sounded like he like kept sighing or like clearing his throat behind.
Yeah.
I am impatient.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, Ernie, just give her the milkshakes.
Right?
She live here now. You'll see her next week.
Well, she finally got the milkshakes and she went to her friend's house. And I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of annoyed.
By Annabelle?
Yeah. When she gets there, her friend has everything set up.
Right.
Like the house is perfect.
Mhm.
The nursery's all set up.
Mhm.
And everything's perfect. It was like she tried so hard to be perfect, to put on this face of like, oh, look at us. We're all put together. I have this perfect family and this perfect house and everything's like, I'm like, girl, this is your best friend. Like you don't have to be perfect.
Mhm.
And if I knew that my friend had just lost her job and like her only plan was to come help me, you know I'm gonna leave at least one room like
Right?
a shit show.
Which I guess she kind of did.
Oh
she
no,
had
I'd
that
make
one
it
room.
like not a closet. I'd
Right.
make it out. Look, oh
But
here,
you
I'm
know-
a hot mess. Come help me.
Right.
The sole purpose of her being there was to help set up the nursery. And they set up the crib like just before she came.
Yeah,
Right.
for real.
Didn't they? I was like, you could have saved that for her. Like, come
Right.
on, give her something to do.
I mean, but they allude to why she did that at the end.
Yes.
a
But
little
for
bit.
like a lot of the book, you're like, okay, Belle thinks she's so much better.
Yeah. I was kind of annoyed by Belle throughout the book because I felt like she was pushing. I'm going to call her Georgie. I'm not going to call her Georgia because I'm just used to saying Georgie.
That's her name.
No, it's not. It's Georgia.
No, it's not.
Georgie.
Have I been saying Georgia in my brain this whole time? It's Georgie.
That's what we
That's what we
said.
just said.
You've been calling her Georgia, you said.
Oh, maybe I have.
You said Georgia. I'm not gonna call her that. I'm gonna call her Georgie.
I slept in today, and that's
Oh,
obviously not a
wow.
good
Honey.
honey child. Look, honey child. Anyways, Georgie, I felt like she was pushing Georgie to do more than she was ready for,
Yeah.
considering this huge change that she's just gone through.
Yeah.
And, you know, making, like, for example, I'll go a little further into
You're
the
fine.
book. When Evan, we'll talk about him later, comes into the picture and Belle is like, oh, look,
Nudge,
look,
nudge.
Georgie, look.
Yeah.
And she's like all trying to get him in the conversation. And obviously, based off of Georgie's face, she's like, could
Stop.
you not? Like, could
Yeah.
just like, y'all read each other so well, but Annabelle was
Not caring
completely
at that.
Not,
She didn't care.
yeah.
I feel like
And-
you have to be more respectful because this girl doesn't even want to live in this town. She
Right.
just
Yeah.
wants to come visit after she just got fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Just let her have a break.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that was part of Belle thinking, I know what's best for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're in this point where things are kind of messy, but I know what's best for you right now.
Girl
Right.
I
doesn't
know
know
what
what's
you
best for
need.
herself.
Right.
Well, I loved the fact that her parents were hippies.
Me too. I love
That
her
cracked
family.
me up.
Me too.
Paul
I had, like,
and
A star beside
what's the
Paul.
mom's
Oh, I don't
name?
remember her name.
Shyla?
Shyla.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I guess we should go a little into the story. So Georgie has her day with Belle. She goes home to her parents' house. She's expecting it to be like chaotic and cluttered because her mom has rheumatoid arthritis really bad and has good days and bad days and like
does crafts to help out.
yeah, and usually kind of messy it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets in the house and it's all clean and she's like, "Oh wow, she must have had a really good day." And she's kind of just doing her own thing and then all of a sudden someone like comes into the house and it's Levi. And at first she thinks, "Oh my gosh, that's Evan,"
Mm-hmm.
which we found out who Evan was from that
Yep.
the friend fic.
Friend fic.
Let's explain the fanfic. That's
Nope.
hard.
Friend fic.
Friend.
Maybe we should
Friend.
talk about what a fanfic is. So a fanfic is when someone really likes a book that they read and they want to like take on their own adaptation or
Mhm.
extend onto it. So they write their own book about it. So it's their fiction off
Mhm.
of that story that was already created. So these girls made their own like
Friend.
fictional
Yeah.
story of things that would happen to them when they got into high school. You know, and they called it their friend fic.
Yeah. And they
So-
wrote it in like 8th grade. So
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
ready to go into high school.
Yeah.
Because there was like multiple smaller middle schools around, but
In the
all
surrounding
of
areas.
the high schools or the one high school was for all of the schools, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They like all these surrounding small towns fed into the one big high school in one town.
Mm.
So it was a lot of new faces, which might be hard. I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine. Like the people I graduated high school with were the same people I went to kindergarten with.
That's crazy.
I can't
I didn't have that
imagine.
experience.
I can't imagine going to a school where I was like, okay, I know everyone right now. And then next year, I'm not going to know everybody.
That was my experience. I went from okay, so when I moved to Texas, we went to this one elementary school moved to Texas from here. Went to one amazing elementary school, was there from like pre-K to 1st grade. Then we moved and I went to another one and I was there for 2nd grade to 8th grade. And so I was there for 6 years, knew everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then they didn't have a high school because it only went up to middle school. And so
Mhm.
then I had to go to an all brand new high school. And that was
a little
big
scary.
social jump for me. It was way
No
bigger
kidding.
than my school. I still went to a small school in middle school, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Adam, was that weird for you going from a school? He went to a school that had kindergarten through 8th grade. And then once they got to high school, they went to a bigger high school, which was the high school I went to. So his little school fed into our high school. Was that weird for you going from your little school to high school with us? You didn't? Oh, is that when you went to
he said
Tucson?
he didn't do that.
Okay, so he went to Arizona, which he had what, like 8 kids in your class at the little school?
What?
Okay, so he went from a class of 5 kids at his little school, and then his family moved. And when he started high school, his high school had like 5,000 kids in his class.
500?
500 in your class? It was huge.
It's insane.
It was
That's
a really
crazy.
big school.
I just
Yeah.
went to like 10 different schools, so
New faces.
Yeah. I'm used to it.
Well, Georgie had a huge crush on a guy named Evan that went to their school, and he was kind of like the hometown hero, like the
Pretty
Football
boy,
player.
football
rich kid.
star.
Jock.
Yeah.
But he was popular, but not a jerk, is
Yeah.
what it sounded
Yeah, it
like.
seemed like he was a decent person.
Mhm.
Just he didn't notice Georgie at the time.
Right.
So when Levi walks into her parents' house,
Because they're brothers.
she didn't even remember almost that Evan had a brother,
Mhm.
but they looked a little alike. And her first thought was like, Evan? And he's like, fuck no.
Yeah, he got so mad.
He didn't say that, but he's like, oh, Jesus. And so what happened was Levi works kind of with her dad. They're friends. They work in the same circle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Levi had a lot of work that needed to be done on his house, some pipes and whatnot. So his house was going to be torn apart. And Paul, which is Georgie's dad, was like, oh, we're going to be out of town. You can just use the house. And so Levi had already been staying there, and that's why it was so clean.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny
I
how
did
anal
too.
he was. He was a clean freak.
Which is so funny because Georgie is the opposite.
Yes.
She is her mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her mother's child.
So it was so funny that he was more embarrassed than she was when he walked in, because she was in her robe and like, did she have pants on? I don't think she
No.
had
At
pants
first,
on.
she didn't have pants on.
He was so embarrassed. He
Because
was
she
like,
has to run and she's like,
yeah, he
"Look
said
at
he
his
like
pants."
turned around, covered his eyes.
yeah, he was so embarrassed.
Because he mentions her legs like several
Yeah.
times throughout the
Yeah,
book. And
legs
because
for
of that
days.
first meeting.
Oh, it was so funny. I was just cracking up. But so finally she gets some clothes on. He comes in and she's like, it's okay. Like, let's figure this out. Let's call my dad. And Levi's like, no, I'm good. And he has his dog with him, Hank.
Hank was my favorite character.
Me
I
too.
love Hank.
Hank's the
He's
star.
So cute.
So she's like, no, let's just call my parents. This was probably one of my favorite parts. I loved all the little names that
I
her
was gonna
dad
say
called
that.
her.
Yes.
And
I wrote a
they're
couple
all
down.
way longer than her actual
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Say
So
something.
when he answered the phone and he was telling his wife that she was on the phone, he said, midnight train's on the phone. And then he said, on my mind, like Georgie on my
Mhm.
mind was one of them. I was like cracking up. I was like, these are great. I love these people.
And
Yeah.
he did something with the George Foreman grill.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like later in the book.
She
but
said,
was
that's a new one. Or she's like, he hasn't called me that one in a long time.
creative
Oh.
dad.
I love that.
And they're always just getting high all the time.
Yeah. So I think that first night they decided, she's like, we'll figure it out tomorrow. We'll both stay here. I'll stay in my room. You can stay in my parents' room or whatever.
I think we're switched.
Switched.
She's in her parents and he's in her room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said the next day she would stay with Belle.
Yeah. She's like, we'll get it figured out and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so the next day she's like with Belle, but it's like she doesn't want to ask her because she doesn't want to stay with Belle.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
Belle has an extraordinary sex drive right now that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
She's mentioned, she's like, she has a hickey this morning. Or I think
Something
Harry
like
did.
that,
One
yeah.
of them did. And she's like, I really do not want to stay
Yeah.
here.
And so she's like, oh gosh, I hope he figured something out. But his dog is Hank.
This
And
was
Hank
so
is a little
sad.
pit mix. And so he's like, I have a really hard time like finding someone to take him, you know, and he's like, I can't get a hotel with him and all that.
Yeah.
So he accidentally calls her and she's like, oh, did he mean to call? Like,
Mhm.
and so they finally get on the phone and he's at the vet because
Mhm.
Hank got attacked at daycare.
My little.
That just makes me
Which one?
so
what kind of
sad.
animal
It was like a
it?
little terrier,
Yeah.
some little dog.
And y'all know I'm not an animal person, but I was like, if that happened to me, I'd be bawling.
He was
Yeah.
so upset.
He sure was.
I
That
love
was
that he
the
was an animal
sweetest
person,
thing.
honestly.
Yeah.
I
Hank
think
was the
that's
most important
the moment.
thing.
That's the moment I fell in love with Levi.
Mm-hmm.
That and when he said he had to carry the dog to the car and he put him in and he said that he didn't even bother putting him in his little special seat with
Yeah.
the seatbelt.
I was like, oh my God.
He has a seatbelt for his dog. Oh, so freaking cute. But at that point, they're like, she's like, you just need to stay here. Like, I can watch Hank. He doesn't need to go back to that daycare. Like, it's not good. Like, let's just make this work.
Yeah.
And so she's like, she makes him dinner.
Okay, I was like
This made
wondering
me
what
laugh.
dinner we were at
Yeah. She made him dinner first.
because yeah,
And it was just so random.
it was a
And
noodle dish with green beans.
yes.
Just
I thought it
random-
was funny that she's not a vegetarian, but the first thing that she made was a veggie pasta.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And he is, right? He's
Yeah.
a vegetarian.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
When did he say that?
When she said she was making dinner, he was like, man, I really hope I don't have to tell her I don't want to eat what you're making.
I did
Yeah.
not catch that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why she had the green beans in there.
I was laughing though because she
So
mentioned,
random.
well, that's the thing. She didn't follow the recipe.
Right.
She's like, it really doesn't have a recipe, I guess. She's like, I really didn't follow it. And I was like, that is so me. Like when I cook sometimes, I don't always follow the recipe.
Veggie pasta means pasta and whatever vegetables you have.
Yes. But Adam freaking hates that. He'll be like, well, why didn't you follow the recipe?
I'm a follow recipe kind of gal.
Or be like, how much did you add? I'm like, I just put some in there. And he's like, that's not what
I just
the
kind of
recipe
wing it. If it says put a tablespoon of butter, I just cut however much butter, do however many spoons I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
No. Recipe. We're going based off of the recipe, guys.
Yes.
It's supposed to. This is what they advertise.
No.
It tastes like.
I like
So
to do what I
funny.
want.
So funny.
So, anyways, they get through dinner.
Yep.
Can we go to the next dinner?
So yeah, they go to bed, do all their things, blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah.
Then he makes her dinner.
Yes, the pizza.
Why did he do that though? He was trying to make up for something.
Why did he do that? What chapter is that? Oof.
Was that when the parents walked in?
No,
That was way
After that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me.
I can't remember.
I can. Y'all keep talking. I can find
I
it.
don't
I
know.
I think something happened, like he was mean or something like that, or they didn't talk. Or...
I think it's because she said she was like sorry for bringing up Evan,
Oh yes,
and he got
Yeah.
upset.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's
you're
like,
right.
"Don't be sorry," and he was just trying to start fresh, So he
He's like,
was
just let me take the dishes out.
yeah. So he was making dinner. He grilled a pizza on the grill.
Which sounds phenomenal.
Yes,
to be honest with you.
I have had that before. It's good. My dad makes
Sounds
that.
good.
Oh, so good.
I don't like pizza.
We love you. Okay, let me talk about this part.
Yes, tell us.
Okay, so this is like towards the end of chapter 8 into chapter 9. And so they're eating a pizza, they're talking. I'm just gonna go to the part that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is what she says. She lowers her eyes, which is the part we love, looking at her hand looking at her hand. Levi's talking. On my arm, as though she's surprised to find herself touching me, she moves one of her fingers the slightest bit, the slowest, smallest stroke over my statue stillness, which I'm holding on with every ounce of my strength. And 4, she repeats, trailing off again, and it's me who's strung tight now, all anticipation for how she's going to finish her sentence. I'm waiting for her to say something about how I talked to her, offer something of myself to her, encourage her about her list, was friendly to her. But that's only because I never expected the alternative, and the alternative turns out to be Georgie, with a gentle squeeze of the arm she stroked so softly, lifting onto her tiptoes and pressing her mouth to mine. And then it jumps into Georgie's part, next chapter. He isn't kissing me back.
Yeah. I was shook that she made the first move.
Me too.
I'm glad that she did. I loved that because
Yes.
it would have taken him forever.
Oh, yeah,
Literally.
no
But
kidding.
also, right before she kisses him, he's like, she's so cute because she has like pizza sauce on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
she
wanted
really
to wipe
is
it off.
just a hot mess.
Yeah.
She literally is. She is fly by the
She's
seat of
so
her
funny.
pants
Yeah.
kind of girl. The
I
teacher
love
wasn't
that.
wrong.
Good way.
Right?
Yeah. Some of the things she likes him, but I think before they even kissed, her and Belle had went shopping as
Oh, at
part
the
of the
antique-
friend
yeah.
fic at the antique shop, and they ran into Evan there.
and Olivia, which
Yeah.
is the
Maybe
sister.
it was after the pizza dinner because she knew that Levi kind of gave her a little bit like, hey, like I don't talk to my brother or my family at all anymore.
Mhm.
Like we're not close, we
Mhm.
don't talk, all this stuff. And she immediately, when she saw Evan, she was like, ugh. Like she was turned off by him, didn't like
Uh-huh.
him anymore. Like instantly.
Yeah.
I was like, she's a goner.
Yeah.
How'd she not know?
She's committed.
She is.
We all were.
But
Right?
they're so freaking funny. I love it. He mentioned at one point that he went to therapy,
Yeah, he did.
and I love that too. I was like, can we get a round of applause for another male character owning up to his shit and problems
Mm-hmm.
and like taking care of what needs to be taken care of? I
Mhm.
liked that. I felt like he was really pretty well rounded.
Me too. I actually really enjoyed his character.
Yeah.
Me
throughout this
too. And the audiobook, yeah,
He had a southern voice.
southern drawl.
Should
Yeah.
I play a part? Because I actually really... Okay. Here's my only drawback with the audio book. Is because when I listen to another book, I think it's When Gracie Met a Grump.
Uh-huh.
The girl and the guy voice spoke their actual parts throughout the whole book.
Oh, okay.
So that was lovely. Oh, loved it. But with this one, whenever it was his part, he did both. And whenever it was her part,
She did
they
both.
did both.
I
Yeah.
thought his girl voice was kind of funny. It would make me giggle every
Yeah,
time.
me too. So I really read most of it like on the Kindle, and I just like when I was doing the dishes or like washing bottles or something like that,
Mhm.
I would listen to it, and I like had it like going really fast because I was just like, I want to get through this because I'm not enjoying it as much on the book, like with the audiobook, because they're not doing the separate voices.
Girl.
I think the book
I know.
I think the book did take a little bit to like pull me in.
Yeah, it did. It took me
Yeah.
a minute.
And
At
sometimes
first,
the audiobook helps me get more into it.
that's what I think too. Just because you can kind of hear their tone, and then sometimes the Levi's part, whoever was speaking it, whatever,
Mhm.
he would clear his throat or like laugh, kind of a chuckle
do the
that
things.
wouldn't actually. He wouldn't say I chuckled. You know, he would actually do it.
Right.
And so I like that.
too.
I could dig it.
Well,
dig it.
After the awkward kiss,
He's beating himself up about that.
and Georgie's like, "Oh fuck,
Right.
this is awkward."
I would have moved back to
Me
LA.
too.
Bye.
So that's
Nadia,
when she stayed.
call me back, girl.
Well, she doesn't come back that night.
No.
She stayed at Belle's because she was so
I
embarrassed.
wouldn't come back ever.
Yeah.
And she had gotten that job just for fun
Yeah.
at the
Which also, that is not fun.
Shoreline.
at the
I
shoreline.
mean, good for her.
yeah.
But if I had the savings and I didn't have to work for a little bit, you can bet that when I went back to work, it would not be
bussing
A
tables.
waitress.
bussing
Waitressing job.
table or waitressing at the Shoreline, which I learned that Levi's family owns.
Yeah.
Especially knowing kind of
Oh,
a little bit of the history.
Right.
so when they see Evan and
Olivia.
Liv at the antique store, Evan gives her his card. And it's like in her back pocket when they're eating the pizza.
Uh-huh.
And she leaves her jeans on the floor and whatever. And she kept like thinking about it
Yeah.
and how it made her feel guilty. And the whole time I was like, when is he gonna like pick up her pants off the floor and find the card? Like that's what was
I thought
going
he
through
was
my
gonna
head.
Find the card.
Yeah.
Never happened.
No.
Which I guess was good.
Because she
Yeah.
was able to tell him.
Yeah.
But so she stays at Belle's and wants to do one of the things on the friendfic list because she decided that that's going to help her like move on with her
Mhm.
life kind of a
Mhm.
way. So one of the things was her jumping off of a dock.
Yeah.
I love
write
this
a
part.
wish on your arm and jump into the dock.
I loved this part
And
so much.
Belle is very, very pregnant.
Which
and so
that's a really cute tradition
Yeah.
for this high schoolers to
I
do.
think
Yeah.
that's cute. But it's been quite some time since they graduated from high school, so they don't really know the area
Mm-hmm.
that they're about to jump into the water, or the dock, how it's structural, how it is, if it's still okay to jump on.
Structurally sound.
Yeah, but I was not expecting Levi to show up.
Me neither, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Great guy.
delicious.
So she was about to jump in, and then all of a sudden, here he comes on his boat with Hank, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Like screaming at him. He's like, "Don't jump! Don't!"
And she's like, Levi, hi.
and then the dog starts to like sway under her, and she's like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" And she falls in.
Oh. And then he comes up with his big muscles and pulls her out.
all the way out. One
Okay.
swift pick.
Let me say this. Whenever these sort of situations happen in books, I just love when like the guy's like heart stops, you know, and
Yeah.
they're like
Mhm.
thinking, what if she doesn't come back? What if she dies?
What if she gets hurt? And she ended up cutting her leg. Like there was
Yeah, a
stuff in
nail
the
or
water.
something,
Like
yeah.
she shouldn't have done that. But I was a little bit annoyed how angry he was. Like he was super mad at
Yeah,
her.
he was.
And I was like, bruh.
Not all of us know about docs.
Right?
You're the dog expert, not us.
And yeah, it was just like, I'm an adult too. Like, stop treating me like I can't make choices. I don't know.
Mhm.
I was a little annoyed with how grumpy he was.
He's grumps.
I mean, we
He
like a
was
little
grumpy,
protective
and
guy, but
Love Grumpy Sunshine, you know?
Mhm.
But I wish he would have just said some of the things that he thinks, because he thinks so much stuff. Just open your mouth and say
Yeah.
it.
mhm.
This would solve a lot of our problems.
That's kind of, I mean, not to jump to the other book, but that's kind of how I felt with the Between the Blue
Mhm.
is like, you're so grumpy.
Back to back nonverbal boys.
Yeah.
Right?
Talk that talk. What about that talk? We want to hear what you got to say.
That's so funny. So he takes her back to the house, gets her warmed up. He's like, I gotta go back to work, but I'll take you back home. So he takes her back to the house. She does whatever.
Oh, but on the boat, he says that he wants to start doing her friend fic with her.
Yes.
I was hoping that would happen.
Yeah, me too.
And it does.
I loved it. I thought it was funny that she had Twilight references in the
Yeah.
fanfic. I was like, did you hear that?
Edward Cullen's car. And
Yes.
And Joe Jonas
Oh,
Yeah.
was in there
so
on a double
fun.
date with her and Evan
It's true.
and Belle.
I know. Your friend picked Joe Jonas and you still went for the guy you're going to school with.
Right?
That was an intense crush.
It was.
I would have definitely picked what's his face?
Nick?
Kevin?
No.
Kevin has a safe choice.
I would have picked Taylor Lautner over Joe Jonas.
Lautner.
I would have went for Twilight all the way.
I mean, I guess I would have picked Edward Cullen.
Ew.
I would have gone Joe. I like Joe. I think he's the cuter of the brothers.
I liked Joe when I was younger because I liked the long-haired bad boys, you know?
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, back to
But what
Georgie.
happened next?
Right, now we're talking about the Jonas brothers.
So this is when is this the couch scene?
Yes, it is.
Mm.
Okay, so then
gets hot and heavy.
so they're one of the things on her list was to watch a scary movie while drinking hard apple cider and like getting drunk. And so she brings home the hard apple cider
So weird.
and he's like, "Okay, I guess let's watch this movie." So they start watching it and she's such a chicken she can't even
Yeah,
really
she told
watch
him,
it.
she's like, you can't close your eyes on any condition at all.
Right.
Mhm.
But then she's doing it.
Right.
And then she ends up turning it off. She's like, I can't.
That would be me.
But they get a little spicy.
Are we going to talk about that in third date?
Yeah, we can talk about that on third date. But part of that is her parents come home
Right in the middle.
right in the
They
middle.
sure
Or right at
do.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell stuff went down.
Yeah.
They didn't
Mhm.
catch them like in the act, but it was enough to embarrass Levi.
But she's
So
talked
bad.
about her family, like, is so open about sex. And
Yeah.
she said they didn't just have one birds and the bees conversation,
Mhm.
but it was ongoing. But I really liked that because they were
Yeah.
so open about
Open.
even like being sexually satisfied by yourself. And I was like, okay, good job, Paul.
I
Yeah.
think there's a fine line on that because you can be like you want to be so open with your kids to where they don't feel scared or worried to talk to you about anything because you don't
Mhm.
want your kids to hide stuff from you. But at the same time, if you're like too over with it, I feel like it makes it seem like it's okay.
to do all the time with
Mhm.
everyone,
Yeah.
whenever you want, wherever you want.
Yeah. And that kind of made me a little, I was like, sounds like they have a good relationship.
Mm.
And she turned out okay, but I was like,
Yeah, because
"Eh."
it didn't, like, she never talked about anybody before. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was her first.
I think it would have made a big deal about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. For
I
sure.
mean, maybe, we don't know.
Yeah. But he is like horrified. And the parents are like, we'll just get settled. You guys do whatever, you know? And
Let me just
he's
make
like,
some
I'm
tea to
leaving.
get us all
he
high.
immediately like
He's
packs
like
all
not
his shit.
making eye contact with anybody.
Yeah,
he's
he
not
won't
drinking
look
the
at her.
tea.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to go. Get me out
Yeah.
of this
And he
place.
does. He gets out and he leaves. And she's really offended. It hurt her feelings that
Yeah.
he like,
I would be too.
you know, they had this moment and then you don't even look at me and you leave.
Right.
And then he went 2 days without texting her.
Boy,
Yeah.
text me.
2 days?
Ugh.
Sir.
After that,
and
Right.
he
Talk
sent
to
her a
me.
you up text.
Yeah.
Not really, metaphorically, guys.
Yeah.
Kind of. She was at work and he asked her if she was busy or if she wanted to come over.
Yeah, he just sent the address.
Yeah.
Come over.
And so she goes and they have a talk and they
They talk it out.
talk it out. They make up with each other and then they're kind of like together.
Which I loved their little life together that
Me
they
too.
started to create.
It was really
too.
sweet.
Like it was like I think it healed a lot of stuff for Levi to like there's something he said. Don't remember, but he was like Georgie. How do you say her last name? Mulcahy.
Mulcahy.
Mulcahy. Georgie Mulcahy is all fuss, and that was like not what he wanted in his life. He wanted like stability and
Yeah.
like nothing crazy because he did all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And for her to like be a part of his life and it still be stable, but it's still like she's still a fuss. She's still, you know.
Well, also, it was
all
like
over the
he
place.
wanted to know, like, that goes with that stability. He's like, I need to know what your intentions are. Like, where is this going? Like, are you going to run off and leave? Are you moving? Am I like opening up my life, which is making me uncomfortable?
Right.
And then you're just going to leave? Like, so he was kind of stressing out.
Yeah.
But
he was in love with her.
mm-hmm.
So he was like fighting the instinct that he created for himself.
Yeah. Their relationship at the beginning was like borderline toxic for me, because it was like something would happen and they would fight and not talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the bar scene where they go out with Belle.
Oh
and
yeah, and
Henry,
he was like
and then
immediately.
Harry.
I'm pretty sure they called him both in the book.
I think
like,
his name wasn't it Henry, but they called him Harry?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I think Harry is a nickname for
Because
Henry.
his name was
isn't it?
Henry Yoon, and that's what he would like professionally say his name was. But they called him Harry.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
This Belle's husband.
Belle's husband, yes. They all went out.
Belle's baby daddy.
They all went out dancing, and Levi was there.
He
Oh,
came out, which
Can I
surprised
say
me.
one
Mhm.
thing?
Girl,
Yes.
go ahead.
When they like Belle says that she wants to go out, she's like, I just want to get out of this house and whatever. Georgie, forgot her name for a second, says that Harry's gonna send her a howler, and that's from Harry Potter. So I thought that was really funny, and I just wanted to say that.
That's
For all the
cute.
Harry Potter
I
fans
liked.
out
He
there.
was kind of corny and cute. I liked him.
Me too.
But so Levi's family shows up at the bar,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mhm.
causes a whole nother issue between him and her.
And it could have been good,
It
Yeah.
literally could have been.
but he
Fine.
saw Evan
It's all
put
red.
his hand on her hip,
Freaked
and
the hell out.
I mean, I would have to. I'd be like, girl, get your hand off.
Well, I think he was used to Evan. He was used to Evan getting everything he always wanted.
Yeah.
And Evan was kind of the favorite son, it sounded like.
He said they were just gonna take her away from him. He was so sad about it. But Georgie's like, come on, say something.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, can I read you the part?
Yes.
Sure.
I want to say this is the part. And I think this is like chapter 12. Mine. This is Levi. I yanked. Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong one. Dang it.
Mine.
That was his heartbeat.
Mine. Oh,
He said
dang
that
it.
like 3 different times.
But okay. One of the parts he says, don't take her from me.
Yeah.
And that part, I was just like, boy,
He was worried.
tell your girl you love her. Just say it, like, for real.
Well,
Like,
he does.
he does. But I was like, I feel like a lot of the problems, and this is for any book, and I get it. It's like you have to write it so that we,
Yeah.
we want to be a part of the book.
But it's real life. Nobody's this healed.
No, like just say I love you and let's move on and create a life
Yeah.
together. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Well, I think they do. They end up
No, absolutely not.
resolving from that fight, and everything's going great. And then Levi finds her notebook,
Oh,
and
But
didn't.
he said I love you before that, right?
Yes.
But she still hasn't.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So he finds the notebook because she left it laying out open on the bed, and he was just gonna go make the bed. So he like picked it up just to close it, and like, but the first thing he saw, was the name Evan, and he
Evan all over.
all over
All
with
over the
hearts, and
everything.
he knew it was her handwriting, and that just like set him off. He was so upset.
It would
And
be. It would
he
be
really
upsetting.
didn't give her a chance to like talk about it.
right. Because literally, he knows that this book is from when she was in 8th grade, and
Yeah.
whether or not it's your brother or not, it was a crush from 8th grade, and she's
Yeah.
literally, and she said that she was like, I've come back to you every single night. Do you
Yeah.
think honestly that I'm interested in Evan at all? Even when they were at the bar, she was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
She
he
went
hugged
in
her and
together.
she stepped back.
yeah,
Mhm.
Like he even saw her step back. So
right. So the way he like catastrophized.
Ooh, is that a new word?
I feel like it is. he made it such a catastrophe.
Yeah.
in his brain, like immediately. And
He was
I mean,
like, "Are you gonna marry me then?"
yeah, I know.
Basically,
Yeah.
he like, I don't know that he said that
That
exactly,
was the
but
trap.
he jumped from that. He went like, "Okay, you either like Evan or you're gonna marry me."
Zero,
what
to,
is it?
0 to 100, real quick.
Yeah, and she's
Mhm.
like, "What the hell?"
she was like, you need to fix some shit with yourself.
Right.
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out me and who I am at this moment at 30, honey.
"Right,
We've been here for like a week, guys. Come on.
right." They haven't even been around each other for that long. But so she leaves, like she gone,
Yeah, she goes back to her parents' house.
and I
And
really,
I love this scene.
Are
that
you
what
talking
you're gonna
about
say?
Dad?
Yes.
Yes, me
I
too.
love her parents.
Me too.
So much.
I was shocked that her dad's advice was so good.
Mm-hmm.
He
You can
basically
tell they have a good relationship.
yes. So she comes home and she's upset. It's been a little while. Levi hasn't reached out to her. And her parents are like, what's wrong? Like, we know something's wrong. And she just tells the whole story from start to finish. Like,
Mhm.
this is what happened. And her mom's like, well, it's been a while. You could reach out to him, I think. And her dad's like, no, like, you said he needs to get his stuff together.
Mhm.
So give him time. And I really liked that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
me too. And they even talk about like who she is, and I think her parents are really the only reason that she resolved her own like, what am I doing with my life? I
Right.
only know how to make other people happy,
Yeah.
and that
Like-
just made the book so much better for me.
Yeah.
Like she only knew how to take care of other people. She didn't in their needs and their well-being. Like she didn't
Mhm.
know how to take care of her own.
Yeah. What did her mom say? She's not like looking at the future. She's making things good in the
Mhm.
present.
for
Right.
now.
And I liked that.
Yeah. I just think there was great character development for everybody
There
Yeah,
really was.
seriously.
because she didn't fix the problem with Levi and his family for him.
Mm-hmm.
He fixed it himself, and I think that's really important
Oh.
too.
You know what we missed
The
when
birth?
they were fighting?
Oh.
Yeah, the birth.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Belle
I was-
had her baby.
I was literally about to. I was gonna say that after
Yeah.
y'all finished because I was like, the reason why he saw the book open is because
She left
Belle
in such
had
a hurry.
not Belle. Georgie had just came back from the birth.
Yeah,
Well,
she rushed
left
out of the
in
house.
a hurry that
Yeah.
morning because Belle called her and said it's time.
Yeah,
And Belle didn't call Harry/Henry
right.
because
Baby daddy.
she told him to go to a conference in person instead of on
Mhm.
Zoom because they also had a fight,
Yeah,
And side note, she knew the baby was coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
She had a
Fucking
feeling.
crazy.
which sucked. But when we were talking about character development, we learned a lot about
Mhm.
Belle in that
And
situation
she
as well.
developed well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up liking her by the end of the
Yeah.
Me
book.
too.
Yeah,
I was happy.
yeah. Cause she had, I was a little suspicious about her. I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
I wanted to like her because I felt like I trusted Georgie. I was like,
Mhm.
I want to trust Georgie's, relationships in these books,
Mhm.
but I was like, Annabelle, I feel like it's just this little
But
toxic.
Being with your best friend and seeing the looks that her and her husband are giving, knowing that they're giving them about you,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
hurts. And I am not Georgie, and I'm not in this fictional book, but that hurt my feelings to
Yeah.
know, like, my best friend is doing that, like, thinking bad things about me.
Right.
Well, they're like, look at us. We're all put together. And here
Right.
comes
Yeah.
Georgie with all her mess again. Like,
and come to find out, everything wasn't peachy keen over there.
Yeah.
yeah.
They was struggling.
Well, and
They better
that's-
pay for her Prius to be cleaned.
Right. Please. All
No
that fluid.
kidding. You.
Annabelle's
vag
water broke
fluids.
in the Prius. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. So back to Levi, he on his own like starts to kind of think about resolving things with his siblings.
Right.
And I think Evan makes the first move, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he comes to the house.
Yeah, he comes out to his house and he's basically like,
I was
"Hey, man."
surprised. Be honest with you, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I thought Levi would have been the one in the book, and I'm honestly glad that he calls him Ev came back and made his peace with Levi. Whether
too.
Yeah.
whether it was gonna be good or bad, he
Mhm.
was like, I saw you with Georgie, and if you're gonna be a part of her life and she's working at the shoreline, I feel like at least I want to come and say my piece about
Yeah.
whatever happened with you, Dad, and the family.
Yeah.
Because his dad was a jerk. Pascal?
Pascal.
Yeah.
Pascal.
It was so funny that she
Calculus.
was laughing
Cal.
about him calling, like, letting her know that his dad's name was Pascal. And
Yeah.
he was like, oh, it's so funny.
right.
But it's because she was calling kaleidoscope and all
Right.
this other
Calculus.
stuff. Yeah.
And
'Cause
her
he
middle
goes
name
by
is
Cal.
Moonlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
funny.
hippies.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, Evan comes and is like, hey, I always looked up to you when I was younger. And, like, I didn't even want to be in football. Didn't like it anymore.
Mhm.
And I was already struggling with my frustration of, Dad's expectations of him and, like, not seeing you all the time and, like, all this jazz. And he was like, you finally came back for Thanksgiving and you just seemed like you had it all together.
Yeah.
And
which is so sad from Levi's point of view.
which
He was on
didn't.
drugs. He was like losing it. He was
Yeah.
depressed.
Yeah. And okay, the reason why his dad finally kicked Levi out of the family basically is when he came to Thanksgiving dinner, he brought a friend named Danny. And he was getting high in the bathroom, Levi was,
Mhm.
and Levi comes out to shouting, Olivia's shouting, and Danny has a gun.
Mhm.
And then Evan, like, rushes at Danny and, like, breaks through the window, and, like, he's cut, he broke his collarbone,
Yeah.
and all this jazz. And Evan, going back to when he's resolving his issues with Levi, he was like, I wanted to, like, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was like, I didn't care if I broke my collarbone. It was probably best because I didn't want to
He
actually
didn't
play
want to
football.
play football
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, and he was like, I wanted to be like you.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to feel something. Basically,
Yeah.
it sounded like
He didn't care what Dad thought. And
right. And he was just like his one chance to like do that.
yeah.
And he said he did it because that's what Levi would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really nice and sad all in the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then that comes to when the dad is like, blames the whole thing on Levi,
Mm-hmm.
takes Levi outside and is basically like just tearing him down, telling him he's terrible and to leave, you're poison and all this stuff. And he's like, leave Evan and Liv alone. Like, don't come back. Don't come near them. Leave us
Or else.
alone. And Evan heard that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Levi didn't know that, but Evan heard the whole thing. And Evan was basically like, you're not poison. Like, I don't care what Dad thinks anymore. Like, I want a relationship with you. Liv wants a relationship with you.
Mhm.
Like, let's do this.
But Levi at one point had told Georgie that his dad said he would cut Evan and Olivia out
Mhm.
too, right?
I
Okay.
think so. But so then they all decide they're gonna be friends. They're gonna make this happen. And they didn't care what the dad thought.
Right.
Yeah, screw that guy.
So I think they formed a relationship on the side, and we didn't really get to hear all that. It kind of goes back to Georgie. She's at work. She's like, what the hell? Like, this is ridiculous. I haven't talked to him. She finally decides she's going to cave and, like, say something to him. But then all of a sudden,
Dun, dun, dun.
Levi Fanning comes
That's
into
gorgeous.
the shoreline.
He
And they're
sure
like,
does.
Oh, God.
He-
looking good, honey.
Yes.
Looking good. Dressed to the
jeans.
nines.
He has jeans on, but they're nice jeans.
Right.
Yeah. The least battered of
Yes. But she's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't think he's ever been here. Like, because he just avoids it like the plague.
Mhm.
And he comes up and he is about to, like, talk to her kind of. And then Cal, the dad, walks in.
He
Of
sure
course.
did.
And he's
Calculus.
basically like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I just came here to say hi to Georgie, and was like acting like no big deal that I'm
Mhm.
here.
I'm here all the time.
Yeah. And so he gives her a little bag and he's like, that's for later or whatever. I think he invites her back to his
Yeah.
house
He's like, will
after
you wear
her
that?
shift.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you can change if you want, but there's something in the bag for you, whatever. So she, after her shift, I think she opens it and realizes.
No, she opened it right there
She
because
did?
the hostess was like, it's a corsage.
Yeah. He got her a corsage. It was a
Paper tissue out of this.
Yeah,
he made
that's
it with her
Right.
mom.
Yeah.
Her mom helped him.
This guy.
And so,
cute.
she kind of figured it out. It was part of the list. One of the things was prom,
Yeah.
going to prom.
That was
With
so
Evan.
Yeah. And so she kind of dresses up. Does she wear her robe?
Yeah, she did
Of
because
course
that's
she
his
did.
He
favorite.
loves the robe.
His favorite outfit is when she wears a tank top, her jean shorts, and the robe over it.
Yes.
I wanna see this robe.
I know. I'm thinking it's like the like rich fancy ladies who have
Yeah.
the marble floors.
Uh-huh.
That's what I picture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But ugly because he said there was a terrible pattern.
Right.
Oh.
Well, I feel like she described this prom so well. Like the lights.
The
and
twinkle
cabin.
lights
Yeah.
everywhere.
I could just visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was so sweet because she's like, how did you get all these lights up? And he's like, oh, like Evan and Liv helped me. Like,
Yeah.
And your
it's, like,
parents
so
and
sweet. And everybody was,
love that.
yeah. And so,
Precious.
I really thought he was going to propose right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know we have growing to do, but I would have said yes.
Right? Well, they kind of, that goes into the epilogue then, I think. And they have a birthday party for Levi and everyone comes. And he said something about Evan's laugh. that made me almost cry because I just loved it so much. He said that he knew Evan had been out there smoking weed with
Oh, yeah.
with Paul,
Yeah.
but he could hear his laugh, and he's like, that's the laugh I love. Like, I just love hearing him laugh like that. And I feel that to my core. Like, my sister is a lot, like, we're a lot alike, but she's way more reserved than I am. I'm kind of crazy, and she's like the calm one. But when she like lets loose and laughs, it is like music to my soul.
Aw.
Like, when I hear her laugh, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I just freaking love hearing my sister laugh.
Yeah.
So when he wrote that, I was
So
like,
cute.
I feel this.
I agree. My
Like,
my oldest brother, when he laughs, it's a giggle. And it's
Aw.
like Winnie the Pooh giggle.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite laughs
Yeah.
that I've ever heard.
I feel like just knowing my sister's personality, that when she has that laugh that just like
It's the real
bursts
one.
from her,
Mhm.
that there's no reservations.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm talking about. Like the wheezing, the pee your pants, like the
Mhm.
laughing
Yeah.
so
Oh,
hard.
those are the best laughs
That's
too.
the one I'm talking about. Like, I love it. But I think I was listening to this book when I finished it, and I was driving home, and I 100% thought that when she took him outside and pulled that thing from her pocket,
That it was a ring.
did you think it was going to be a pregnancy test?
Yes,
Oh.
I did.
I 100%
Immediately.
thought it was
I
going
thought
to
it was
be a
gonna be a
pregnancy
ring. I
test.
was so confused. I was like, "What are we talking about?"
Yeah.
I
And-
thought it was literally she was gonna put a pregnancy test on his
And
hand.
she's like,
I don't want that. Thank
it's
you.
been in my pocket all night. I was like, it's a pregnancy test. Like, what?
right.
It was a Sharpie. And she was like, whoa.
Yeah,
She's
and
like,
then
you didn't
when
get
he
to
said
ma-
it was a Sharpie, I was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And then I remembered.
Yeah. She's like, you didn't get to make your wish the last time they jumped in the river. And so she wanted him to make a wish. And the book freaking ends with him writing the wish, but we don't get to know what it is.
Yeah. I was like, "Are you gonna ask her to marry you, or is it still a small wish? What is the wish?"
Yeah,
I know.
I
And
need to
it
know
just
the wish.
ended. I was like, what?
Kate, go ahead and let us know what the wish was.
We need
Yeah.
an epilogue that tells
Yeah.
us what the wish was.
All you don't even have to do that for me. Just text us. Hey, this was his wish.
Yeah.
And now I'm good.
Said something
Yeah.
like,
I need closure. I don't
Yeah.
have closure.
It could just be that he wanted to go back to the bedroom like he did their last birthday.
Yeah, say hey.
I just need some closure.
right.
right. Ugh.
But I will say I know that he said it was good for him, but I hated it that the first time she told him she loved him was over text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a in person.
That's
you need
true.
to say it with your voice.
But he said he
Yeah.
was glad that she said it through text because he could like feel the feelings without having the pressure of her watching
I
him.
don't care.
don't
It
know.
bummed
if
me
my
out.
future husband is listening,
It was kind of weird.
tell me in person. Don't
Right.
tell me over text. I ain't gonna believe you. And then you gonna have to say it like 50 more times in order.
I'm
for
like, are
me
you
to-
sure?
Right.
I'm married, and sometimes I'm
Right.
like, do you still like me?
Right. Do you love me?
Oh.
But I have 2 quotes that I highlighted. Can I tell you what they were?
Period, girl. Tell us.
Yes.
In the very beginning, he says, Levi says, "Dang, she looks a mess, but she's awful pretty too." And that
Aw.
was so cute to me. And then at the very end, he says, "Georgie Mulcahy making her mark on me."
Aw.
Okay.
That part. Okay.
You got me.
Can I jump to that one part when
one?
she's like, they're at the Rock at the high school, and she's like wrestling with this, making her mark.
Oh yeah, because
concept.
they were gonna spray
Mhm.
paint on the rock.
Yeah, and she like spray painted Annabelle's name,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's watching her, and she's just like, I want to make my mark, but she's thinking about all the ways that Annabelle has, or like all the way anybody else has, and how she
Mhm.
hasn't, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit for her. I was like,
Yeah.
you know that meme, like stand up. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
girl, you are still somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you still have the rest of your life, and you helped all of these producers and all of these
Mhm.
directors. Like, you have left a mark on people's lives.
Yeah.
whether
Not
you think
everything
it
has
great
to
or
be
big.
this
Yeah.
like huge
It doesn't.
production.
You're leaving your mark on Levi, on Hank. You're leaving your mark on your
I
parents.
love Hank.
Yeah.
And my thing is, the people who their mark like, I'm happy for people who had amazing high schools and did all these cool things and were in every club. But if that's the only thing you do in your life, what are you doing for the rest of your life?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So she can be jealous or sad or whatever. But I mean, when you feel like the only thing you've done in this town is bad things because of your stupid teacher, that sucks. But also, you have so much life ahead of you.
Right. 4 years of your life as a teenager.
Yeah.
You're not, I mean, you're making a mark, sure, but that's not the mark that's lasting.
No.
Mhm.
It's the stuff that you do after that, you know? And I mean,
And we see that with Georgie and Levi.
exactly.
And Hank even got his rooster.
Yes.
So it was,
Got
this
his
was a
own
good book.
rooster to stare at.
All right, let's go to our third date.
Third
Third
date.
date.
So this wasn't like super spicy.
No, not a,
But
not
it
a
wasn't
spice
really
machine.
closed door, was it?
No, I
don't
It was
think it
like
was.
the door's ajar.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say I appreciated that both times kisses, the first few kisses were initiated by Georgie.
Mm-hmm.
Like the kiss during the dinner and then the kiss on the couch initiated by her.
Mm-hmm.
So the first spicy was the couch scene
Yeah.
where they were like hardcore making out on the couch.
Mhm.
And we have a little consent. He talks about, he's like, can I? When he wanted to put his hand in her shirt.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny how, what did I say? I said intense makeout with orgasm from nipple play. I like question mark. Is that what happened? I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, she was straddled his lap, so I think they were grinding a little
There was
bit.
a little bit of everything there.
top and
dry
bottom.
humping.
Stuff was happening. There was a lot of
Uh,
friction going on.
But
I was like, she was trying to make it super spicy, but with no penetration.
Mhm. And I mean, it was so funny because they kept talking about how they were going back to like being 15 or whatever, and this feeling of like, oh, we're cuddling on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And so grinding on your parents' couch fits that. And
Yeah,
I just thought that was
That-
so funny.
Yeah. I can't remember. I know the next one, another one that they had was after they jumped in the river at
Oh
at
yeah, they
Levi's
left their
house.
clothes out there and everything.
They like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they ran.
they just
ran
went
to the
inside
room.
and
That was like the first time they actually like had sex, right?
yeah.
And you know what? It's funny. Hank was always a part of it in some way.
Right.
Like he was always like letting Hank in before they went in, and
Yeah.
Oh, I guess this qualifies kind of as third date. The first night they meet, her clothes are everywhere, and Hank's
Oh,
rolling around,
yeah.
and his tail catches her panties, and he's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
wagging his tail like a flag.
Just pure chaos.
That is
Oh,
just the
Hank.
most awkward thing ever. I
could
think I
see
would have
that.
died from embarrassment right there.
Oh. I love that.
You stay. I'm leaving.
And I'm keeping the dog.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so cute. Do we have anything else on the spicy? I mean, it was good. I don't think it needed more or less, or it was
No,
just
I think
good.
the character
Yeah.
It
development
fit,
is
it
what
fit the story.
was needed.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, it was perfect.
I
Yeah.
just loved like how much they loved like kissing each other and hugging each other and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Should we do fuck, marry, kill?
Jays.
Yeah, and I do have some speed date. I didn't pick any characters
Oh,
though.
speed
Me
date.
neither.
Oh, I have that. Oh, that's next. Okay.
I forgot.
So who would you fuck?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna go. I'm thinking of this as Georgie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna F Evan just to get it out of my system.
Okay, you never know. Might
you
be
never
great.
know. Maybe he was the
Right?
one. You never know. And he's got that like newly divorcee, vibes going on. So he's probably
He's
not.
probably gonna cry afterwards.
right.
for
Oh my
sure.
god.
So it's a one night stand. And then I'm gonna go marry Levi,
Uh-huh.
of course.
Definitely.
I'm gonna kill the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
She's a bee.
Yeah. And then best friend, I'm going dad, Paul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's my boy.
Okay.
What y'all
You
got?
wanna go or
I'm
you go?
thinking this not as Georgie. Like
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
just a bystander.
Right.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm Mrs. Michaels.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I would F Levi,
All right.
Okay.
marry Henry/Harry.
Okay.
He just seemed so great.
Yes.
Stable.
Stable, very. And Levi, I loved him, but I need somebody to talk, and he
Yeah.
just doesn't very much.
Mm.
Um, I would kill the teacher. And then I think Georgie would be my best friend because I'm also just a mess in general.
Yeah.
So I think that would work.
Yeah. I put that I would fuck either Evan or Harry.
See?
But probably if I'm
Oh.
Georgie, I don't think Evan would be an option because that's like really not cool.
So you're going to have sex with your best friend's husband?
I mean, I guess. Then I
But
would.
okay, let me say, when I F Evan, I'm doing it like I come back from college, you know, like
Not
a
at
quick
the same-
college.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know Levi's in the picture really. Fast forward, then we marry Levi.
That was really
I
awkward.
would marry Levi. And then I put kill Mr. Fanning because I really didn't need him in the story
Oh,
at all.
that's true. He kind of was the villain.
He was a douche.
Yeah.
And no one needed him.
No.
We're over it, you know?
Okay, I'll change my answer. The teacher sucks, but I'll kill
I'll
Pascal.
kill her, y'all kill him.
Okay.
That works.
Sounds we'll get everyone covered, taken
Yeah.
care of. As far as best friend goes, I would do probably Hank, the dog.
Hank is the best. He was
Yeah.
my favorite character.
So him or Georgie.
Maybe I'll kill the owner of the Yorkie.
Or
I
the
thought you were
person
gonna say kill the Yorkie.
I thought about it, but I was like,
off the dog.
I couldn't do
We
that.
love animals.
or
we
the
couldn't
person
kill an
that
animal.
Hank had to be rescued from.
Yeah, kill
Mm,
that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're goners.
Do you want to do speed date? I have people, so
love-
do you want to do the question?
Yeah. Which one do you want to do first?
I don't care.
Okay, I only have a lot. A handful of questions.
Okay, let's
Oh,
go.
I feel like we answered some of them while we were talking,
Uh-huh.
so maybe Sydney will actually get some right.
this
This is the easy one, okay?
I'm not a good
What
tester.
is Georgie's car?
Prius?
Okay,
There you
what
go.
is the music teacher's name?
Mrs. Michaels.
Michaels.
You almost didn't know. What was the rooster's name?
Red. It was red. It had a name?
Uh-huh.
What does it start with?
I don't remember.
R.
Rooster.
Rooster.
Rodney.
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 Rodney the rooster.
Rodney
What
the rooster.
was her shampoo scent?
Ooh. Was it lime?
Eucalyptus.
No,
Lemon?
but it was an herb.
Basil.
Lavender.
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Ah, rosemary.
What was the issue with the veggie pasta?
It had green
the
beans.
green beans were weird.
What was the dinner that Levi made?
Grilled pizza.
Grilled pizza on the
How many photos did Nadia send to Georgie
50 million of
Like a
them.
lot.
A ton.
in the first
7.
text message?
7.
8.
Oh.
It was 8.
How old is Levi? He said it one time, and he only said he was 5 years older than he was in a different scenario.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna say mid 30s. We're gonna go with because Georgie's like 30, and he's a couple years older than
Say
her.
34.
33, 32.
He is 32.
Oh, man. Nice work.
Because he's 2 years older than her.
He said something about when he was 27, and that was 5 years ago.
Okay.
Math. Ooh.
Yeah, I had to count. I'm sorry.
Look at you go.
What horror movies is Levi scared of?
Zombies.
I don't remember.
Zombies.
Zombie.
Um,
Zombie zoo.
what
Zombie
kind
zoo.
of dog is Hank?
Pit.
Pit.
What is Belle's middle name?
Moonlight?
No, Belle.
Oh,
I thought it was Moonbeam,
it's Moonbeam. Oh,
but Belle, her friend.
Annabelle. I know her mom's name is the baby's name.
Remember,
Mhm.
she had to spray paint it.
It's a. It starts with the I.
Yeah, it was Airy was her initials.
Yeah.
Airy.
Isabel.
Oh, weird.
Iris.
Iris.
Oh, Iris.
Indigo.
I don't
And
know.
next question: what's the baby's name?
Starts with an S.
Mm-hmm.
Sadie.
Shayla. Shauna.
Sue.
Mm-mm. Sonia.
Sonia.
And this was my favorite question because when I read it, it made me giggle like for 3 minutes. What was the doctor's name?
Ooh.
Oh.
I have no idea.
It
one
was
of the-
really short.
One of the best names for an OB.
Mr. Butt.
Close.
Vagina?
It was very close to vagina. It was Box.
Oh, it was
Dr.
Box.
Box.
I was like, I knew it was really short. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what it was. I was gonna say red again.
That's
She was
funny.
like, that has to be a joke. And I just could not stop. It got me right in the giggle box. I was just laughing.
The giggle box.
Uh,
That's funny.
I had a few people. So for Levi, I kept picturing Jason Kelsey.
Oh, the brother.
Yeah. because he's got the dark hair.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He does have blue eyes. And,
Wrong accent.
well, we're just going on looks. Maybe he has an accent. Maybe he can impersonate.
Oh, maybe.
We don't know his
A voice
acting.
actor?
We should
Who
ask
knows?
him.
And
He also has a podcast.
He does.
I couldn't see anyone else with Jason but Kylie, so I picked his wife, Kylie Kelsey. But also, I thought Emma Stone
Fair.
would be good. Because I believe that
I love
Georgie
Emma Stone.
had kind of reddish hair,
Mm-hmm.
didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought her too.
A lot of red-haired girls in these books
Yeah.
recently.
Yes.
Cherry.
Well, guys,
I'm
would you smash or pass this book?
Smash.
gonna smash it.
I'm going to smash it.
Is
I like
Hank
the cover,
real?
too.
Kate, is Hank based off of your dog? I need to know.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Did you see? I saw her post that she has bookmarks with
No.
Levi and Hank.
Oh,
She made a bookmark. Someone made a
Should we
bookmark
buy
of
them?
Levi and Hank. I thought it was really cute. Okay, so that's the end.
That was so
we have
cute.
our happily ever after.
Our happily ever after was our arc read that we were so excited.
Our first
Yeah,
arc
yeah,
read.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
was Between the Blue by Nikki Witt, who is at Nikki's Book Nook on Instagram.
Go check her out. She's awesome.
And
She has another
listen.
book that I would like to read. It has plants on the cover, but
That was her first one.
what was it called? I can't
Here I
remember.
have it. It is When Fate Breaks.
Yeah, I want to read that one because the synopsis sounds cute.
Yeah.
Favorite.
I'm sure it's good. Want to check it out.
Alrighty. So to wrap us up, guys, if you want to follow us on any of our many social media accounts, we have quite a few now. If you want to follow us on our Instagrams, we are Lovers Library Pod for the podcast, and we also are Lovers Library Book Club. And we have a Facebook page called The Lovers Library. And if you want to follow us on TikTok, we are lovers.library.po. And is there anything on any more accounts that we got? Oh, we also have a book club
Probably.
on our Facebook.
Yeah, it's a group.
It's a group. It's a Facebook group called Lovers Library Book Club. You can also join. It's a private group, so just click in and join, and then we will, if you're real, we can see you got a real life, then we'll accept you. We're pretty, everybody's involved. Everybody's invited. We love you. Again, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Happily ever after.
Bye.